everybody. Welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Monday, November 6th, 2023. Welcome to Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host, as always, Brian Kruse. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. I can't believe it is Monday. It's crazy. It's wild. And I don't know why this graphic does this in my ear, but you can hear me. I know you can hear me. But welcome back to Kruse Control. My lovely co-host, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to Kruse Control. How you doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
How's your Monday been?
Not bad. So far, so good. Let's see how this turns out.
Come on, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's Monday. Hey,
Hi,
what's up, DR? Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, it's going to be a great Monday. Come on, it's Monday. We're starting the week strong. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Got some stuff done. Met some friends or family. Got, things accomplished. Had a great weekend. That's all I can say. Hey, what's up, Queen? Welcome back.
Hi, Queen.
Happy to have you here. And joining us back on Kruse Control tonight from Film Vets. You love them, we love them. Paulalandixon, welcome back. How you doing, Paul? Welcome back to Kruse Control. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here. And clear as a crystal picture this time.
There we go.
You can see me.
We did it.
We can see
You cracked the code.
We made it. We made it happen. No, how you been? How's life been? I haven't talked to you in a little bit.
The strike is what it is. I've been keeping busy with very important stuff like PS5, Spider-Man 2. I've also been, working with a buddy of mine on some scripts. So hopefully get something off the ground that way.
Nice. You got to be active right now because, again, this time we can't just waste it while we have it. Of course, bad things are happening with Hollywood right now, waiting for stuff to like a deal to come through. We'll talk about tonight, but you got to be proactive. And it's great you're doing that. And you've been working on film Vets a lot too, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, we're hitting a bit of a wall, but we've talked about tonight how we're going to get around that wall. So there'll be more stuff coming.
Nice. So you got to do, keep moving forward. Thanks for being back here. Appreciate it so much.
Yeah, man.
And also,
thank you.
And also joining us back. What? Sorry about that. I get so excited, Paul. I get so excited.
So jazzed.
Calm down.
Still that Monday energy.
Also joining us back on Kruse Control, though, everybody, he's been here a few Mondays in a row. You know him, too. You love him. You know IPA Sessions, everybody. Check out K. Jacob's show. Everybody, welcome back. K. Jacob, how you doing tonight, Jacob?
Hey, appreciate the hype. Thank you for the welcome. Don't calm it down. Keep it going. I love it. Thanks, man. This is great. I'm happy to be here as another Monday guest. It's been nice having these sobering moments with you guys. I really enjoy giving sober perspectives.
What's up, Edward? It's good to have you here on a sober day. Sober days are good, right? Doesn't always have to be too crazy here, but we do have time, and we have a fun time here on Kruse Control. Regardless, on Fridays are nuts. We had a good Friday this past time. It was a good panel.
Oh, you guys were great last Friday. I love the segment. It was awesome.
Hi, Edward.
Hey, what's up, Edward? Also here, everybody. You know him, you love him too. The pet star himself, Peppy. How you doing, man? Oh, I lost my mind. All right, Peps. How you been? What's going on?
Thank you, Brian. Happy to be back on Kruse Control. We are going to have a great show today because Pep Star is on.
Yeah, thanks, Peppy. Thanks. Yeah, Peppy is happy to be here, everybody. We're happy to all have you here. Happy Monday. It's going to be a great show. We got a lot to talk about, as always. And, of course, we're going to be talking about that strike update because there's not a deal yet, and maybe it'll come soon, but there's other things happening, everybody. As always, there's a lot of breaking news. Come on. All right, everybody. The very first thing that I want to talk about is The Bear, because The Bear was renewed at FX. You've been watching this, excited about before. The third season is coming to FX. And it was fun. There was something that I expected. Everybody expected this too. It's been doing so well, nominated for so many awards, acting, writing, across the board. Excellent. FX has a huge hit. Excellent show. I know Sabrina loves it too. I've watched a little bit, not a lot. They haven't said how many episodes the third season's going to be, but it'll probably be 10 because the first two were 10. But it's coming back. People be stoked if they love The Bear. And it's something that's coming back but might be done is Curb Your Enthusiasm. It might be done. But apparently they have this conversation every time they do a season. So sometimes they have, like, I think between seasons 8 and 9, they have like 6 years in between because Larry David just goes out there and puts every idea he has on the paper at that time. And then he does the season. And once it's done, he's spent, he's out of ideas. And him and HBO have a whole open door relationship. They actually said, we generally leave it up to Larry. If he thinks he wants to do more, we're going to do more. It's always an open invitation. And, there was a rumor going around. I guess there was a tweet out there saying they were going to be done after season 12. But apparently that's just false. Don't believe that. It's up to Larry. There might be more, but this could be its last season. But it's always could be its last season. I guess they talk about it. It's a big joke. It's a big joke with the crew. They say, if you work on Curb Your Enthusiasm, you might be working on the last season. So it's an all open thing. I think it's hilarious. But
4 years, they'll come back season 13. It'll be fine.
They could do that too. They could come right back. But somebody that's not taking their time coming back. What?
Open invitation, they said.
Open invitation. But someone that doesn't, well, they have an open invitation, but they're not taking their time, is House of the Dragon, because House of the Dragon is coming back this summer. Early this summer, you get the second season of the Game of Thrones spinoff. And because they shot during the strikes. That's why they shot all summer. And you might ask yourself, how is this possible? Well, they actually had different contracts. They weren't under normal SAG-AFTRA contracts. They were under equity contracts in Britain. So most of the actors were under there, so they're able to keep shooting, and they avoided. They said all the scripts are written, so they shot everything for season 2. They got in the can. They're ready for it to come out early summer. And people are probably excited about because that's some new content coming. I still think that it was wrong they were shooting because, these actors love them in SAG anyways. But it is what it is. It battled through. It's like the variety contracts too, so there's a loophole. They shot it. It's done. It's coming. That's a snafu if you ask me, but snafu is coming back. The Ed Helms project. And this is something I never heard about before, but it's his podcast by iHeartRadio. And they did one whole season, and it's based off history. It did great. Over 1 million downloads. It won a couple awards, a gold award for the best historic podcast, a silver award for best writing, both in the category of limited series and specials. And the first season actually covered, he also hosts, he's executive producer of it. So it's done really well for him. But the first season actually was about Able Archer 83, the NATO military exercise that almost caused a nuclear war in November of 1983. And the second season is going to be actually taking place about the Book of Burglary. And this is a whole story about burglary that was revealed that J. Edgar Hoover's secret FBI agency. They got apparently 8 guys busted in there. They got all this information. They stole secret documents, evaded capture, and uncovered the Bureau's most explosive and damaging secrets. And they put it all out there in blast. And Ed Helms is going through the whole story, bringing all 8 guys in for the second season. They're all still alive to talk about this. And he's like, it's just a good time for him. He loves history. They're doing season 2, and they're going to do season 3. So if you like this, yeah, Edward, wow, yeah. If you like this, it's coming. More snafu for you. And that's something great, but something that might scare you a little bit that maybe you also are upset about is the Welcome to Derry coming, because the It spinoff has been delayed. And if you knew about this, didn't know about this, they're doing a spinoff. And Andy Muschietti did The Flash. Him and his wife, Barbara, have done this series. They wrote the thing. They've been directing it, putting it together. They expected to come out of Halloween of 24, but because of the strikes, because of the shutdowns, it's been pushed a year. They're hoping to get it out sometime in 2025. They haven't said exactly when. Of course, it's going to be on Max. And it's a whole new chapter, but it's actually going to be expanding on the whole It storyline between the chapters 1 and 2 of the movies. So if you like this before, not familiar with Snafu Queen says, yeah, I wasn't either, but it sounds pretty good. And Helms is great. But if you like, if you liked it, you might like this spinoff. I saw the trailer. It's out there right now. It looks all right. It's none of the original cast is coming back for this, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. Hopefully it's good. But, it's also one of those things that, might scare people because it's, it's a scary movie they're doing onto a TV show. That's all I'm saying. But something else that's just kind of upsetting to me that I keep hearing about over and over again is sexual assault. And now there's more against Steven Tyler. So allegedly, there is a girl when she was 17 years old. She claimed that she was sexually assaulted by Steven Tyler. Now, this has been years ago. This is back in the summer of 1975. This apparently went down, she was saying. And she was a model with their friend, went to Manhattan. Her friend was supposed to get her to meet Aerosmith there. They apparently got together. We're going for a walk down 6th Avenue. And she said she told him something that just upset him, and that caused him to throw her into a phone booth and then apparently start groping her breasts, her buttocks, her genitals, moving up and down her clothing, rubbing himself against her, and trying to hump on her. And then she said she grabbed his hair and she kicked him, and then she got free and ran. And apparently she went to some hotel and he came in there too and got on her again, apparently, and was trying to hump on her again. And then after that, apparently some door guy grabbed her, threw in a taxi, and had her drive away. So now she's suing him after all this time. Of course, the statute of limitations opened up in New York, so that's probably why this is going down. But she said that she's suing him for an amount that will fully and fairly compensate her for injuries and damages she allegedly suffered. And she's also seeking a jury trial over all this. And this sexual assault stuff is coming forward more and more, just like Russell Brand. Another person came forward for Russell Brand, saying that on the set of Arthur. Now, there were a lot of girls, like 4 that came forward from 2006, 2013. They said they were sexually assaulted from him not too long ago, a couple months ago. Well, this girl came forward now. She gave more details, and she said that she was working as an extra on the set of Arthur. And apparently he flashed himself naked to her in front of like some of the crew members, some of the cast. She apparently ran away, went to a bathroom. He came to the bathroom, and then she said a crew member actually locked her in there with him. He sexually assaulted her, and she couldn't get out until he was, done. And then she said, she couldn't say anything at the time because she was, let alone if you were a PA or a cast member, but she was background, and she said, no one's going to believe me. They'd probably fire me if I'd say anything. She told her sister apparently after the fact, and now she finally came forward because all these allegations are coming forward, and she said she wants to get her power back. So again, yeah, good for her. I mean, but this is what's been happening. This has happened to Russell Brand a lot, and we're going to have to see what these allegations, how they play out. But it's just sad to hear these things happening. I feel like every day I feel like there's more sexual assault stuff happening. But I'd rather hear more about Christmas. And Kelly Clarkson is doing Christmas special, everybody. Katy Perry. Kelly Clarkson. What am I saying? Kelly Clarkson. My mind. I'm thinking about Russell Brand. I'm thinking about it's all meshing together. But Katy Perry is not doing it. Kelly Clarkson is doing her Christmas in Rockefeller Center for NBC special. She's been there for like 20 years, and that should be hosting and first time. It'll be our special Wednesday, November 29th. And the holiday season's coming. So they're always bad and good, but we're getting some Jingle All the Way coming our way. So a lot of breaking news happening, everybody. I mean, I like the good. I like the good, but there's always the bad in breaking news. So a lot for us to talk about. And this your first time here on Kruse Control, or your 18th millionth time. This is that time we like to give everybody a minute on the clock, talk about the breaking news, let them break down all their hot takes, and tell us what they think about the news. Everyone gets a chance. Give my panel the best time. Everybody ready for what I have to call them? Some hot takes. Let's get it. Hot takes. All right, it's time for some hot takes. And this is my favorite time. I know I say it more, but it's fun for me because now I've been through all these breaking news topics. Now you have to pick who gets to go first and who's going to have that minute on the clock, race that bomb, and who will get to say everything before the bomb goes off. So let's go over to Kate Jacob first because he's talking about how he's been here for so many Mondays. Kate Jacob, are you ready for your hot takes?
I am. Let's do this. I'm going to do something different tonight, but I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, here we go. Hot takes in 3, 2, 1. Hot takes.
I'm going to spend this moment talking about Ed Helms' new podcast. It was his new season. As a fellow podcaster, I just find this all interesting because there are so many podcasts out there that do the same fucking thing and have been doing the same. There's literally a podcast show called Weird History that has been on for years. And I just find it fascinating. Nothing against Ed Helms. I like him as an actor, but like you have these big conglomerate medias come in and they get these new podcast shows that are just doing the same shit that has been out there for 10 years. And on top of that, they sometimes take away, like, because they have money, they can buy titles off of other podcasters, and they're like, oh, sorry, we have this domain now. And it's like, well, bro, I've had this show for 10 fucking years. Doesn't matter. So I'm a little iffy about that. Like, if you're a fan, great, whatever. It's not a big deal. No one really talks about this, and it blows my mind that, like, you have A-list celebrities doing whatever they want, getting paid to do it, and you have hardworking podcasters like myself out there busting our ass.
You can do that, Kate Jacob. I like you, right? Ed Helms, honestly, I love him, and I think this is a great idea. I didn't even know about this podcast, but a lot of celebrities are doing this. Happened during the strike, especially with all of Strike Force 5.
Those shows get a lot of attention. They get a lot of viewerships, and it's to me, it's a bit unfair. But hey, that's the world we live in, and whatever. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen. A podcast is a huge media format now, so I expect to see this more and more. I just find it aggravating at times when they're doing a show that's very similar to literally 3 other shows that have been doing this independently. And as a fellow independent artist, I like to respect other indie artists that should at least get recognition for this stuff.
That's
and who
true.
knows how it came about? I'll look into it more. Maybe it came about that way. Great if it did. If not, kind of disappointed. But nothing against Ed Helms. He's a working actor. Good for him.
I love Ed Helms.
Just to be clear, that was not hot takes at all. Can you guys in the chat let us know if there's still problems with Brian's microphone or my microphone?
Yeah, it might have been a graphic thing or something like that. Stephen Tyler, there he is. Stephen Tyler deserves a lump of coal, Edward saying.
Does the mic sound good, everyone? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to put that back up. That was from a minute ago.
I'm pushing buttons too over here.
Well, why don't you do it? I'm hands off.
Hands off. Can you everybody hear me okay here? You can hear me, K. Jacob, Paul?
I hear you great.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe some weird's happening. All right. Well, Paul's back. So I'm going to go to Paul next for Paul's hot takes here because, why not? Throw it at him right now. Paul, what do you think? Are you ready for some hot takes and everything that just went down today?
I was born ready. Let's do it.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Hot takes in 3, 2, 1. Hot takes.
Okay, going off of, I'm going to just combine the 2 sexual accusations. If either one of them are guilty, they should be put behind bars. If they're innocent, they should be proven in the court of law. I have nothing else to add beyond that. As far as House of the Dragon comeback, I'm very excited for that. I never had listened to Ed Helms' podcast, so I can't really give any information about that, but I love Ed Helms. Curb Your Enthusiasm going away would be super sad, because I love Larry David, but at the same time, it's been on for a long time, so that wouldn't be the end of the world. Trying to think what else we talked about.
What
was before that?
Katy Perry.
The Bear.
The Bear.
I love The Bear. I am in season 2. Haven't finished it because I don't want it to end. Oh God, it's so hard to remember everything. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. I got it. Russell Brand, fuck you. Kelly Clarkson. All right, I think I got most of them.
You got most of them, I would say. You got most of them. Hey, it was pretty good.
Oh, the music. No.
Hey, at least you had hot takes, Paul. At least you had hot takes.
Got some hot takes.
That's true. K. Jacob skipped the hot takes entirely for a 1 minute chat on what he thought about Ed Helms.
Yep. No, what about podcasts?
Okay, podcast. Spurned by Ed Helms.
Exactly. There you go.
Nice.
But we'll see what Sabrina does for her hot takes.
Everyone does have a podcast now, including us idiots. So yes, Queen.
Everybody podcast.
Hot takes. Come on, Sabrina.
Right there. Sabrina, you ready for your hot takes?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hot takes.
Since nobody wants to talk about The Bear, it's one of the best shows on television. It is about it's about a restaurant, basically. It's about restaurant business. And Jeremy Allen White is amazing. And Queen, you had said in the chat that something about is it a show about nature? No, it's not. The Bear comes from a nickname from their family, and also the Carmy, who is Jeremy Allen White, also his nickname. It's an amazing show. You should check it out. It's fucking dope. It's on Hulu. House of the Dragon, not super, worried about it. Don't really give a shit. I'll probably watch it because it's coming out. Snafu, never heard of this podcast before, but I'm willing to check it out. I like Ed Helms. Welcome to Derry. Not really my thing. I when I was little, it scared the fucking piss out of me, so I'm not super into it. But I probably, let's be clear, probably will watch it. Steven Tyler and Russell Brand can kindly go fuck themselves. Actually, not kindly, just go fuck yourself. And I really like what someone said in the comments about a lump of coal and it stopping. Because now we're going to Christmas, right? Kelly Clarkson. I had no idea that she was even old enough for it to be 20 years, but good for her. She's totally perfect for Christmas.
See, Sabrina got it. She got them all. I
mean, you didn't really give me much competition. I kind of felt like I could wax poetic for a minute there. I wasn't even worried about it.
I think it was great. But that's some hot takes, everybody. A lot of breaking news going on. Appreciate you all talking about that. And of course, some other big breaking news before we go into our main topics today is, of course, the SAG-AFTRA Strike is still going down. Oh. And you may be wondering, how long we'll be talking about this. Well, hopefully not much longer.
Thank you, Edward.
Thanks, Edward. Hopefully not much longer. But AMPTP put forward their last, best, and final offer, they said, for SAG-AFTRA on Saturday, and that was a response to SAG-AFTRA after they gave like a response the following Saturday or the previous Saturday. And they had a whole AI talk on Wednesday, and they expected it all to be covered, and they said AI is covered completely, the best ever. You're never going to have better AI coverage in the world. And SAG-AFTRA is like, it's not quite right yet. There's some loopholes, and so they put a statement out. They need time to go through with their lawyers and figure this out. The same thing happened with the writers back when they were going through this. They got the same deal. Best, we're never going to stop, or this is your last chance ever. They did the same thing to them. They did to the actors. They did to their day. And now the actors said, we got to go through some of this AI stuff, figure that out. And they actually were talking about meeting tonight. And they want to have a meeting ASAP, virtual meeting to talk about this and then figure something out. So they didn't sign this deal. This deal is not set in stone. AMPTP has not said they're walking away right now. Hopefully it's something by tomorrow. There's a big update. But I hate this whole last, best, and final offer thing they throw out here. I think it's rude. It's also like, it's aggressive, and it's also a lie, because you're going to eventually come back, and they could wait until January. That could happen, but I doubt they will, because they want to be able to start January after the holidays and get people back to work and start getting content out there for you. But I don't know. We want to talk about this briefly. Sabrina, do you believe this is the last, best, and final offer? Do you think they will take some time, work this out in the past couple days, and get a deal and be done with this?
First of all, thank you, Queen. I appreciate you. Second, it sounds like an ultimatum, but they did the same thing with the writers. So what happened was then the writers countered, and then they accepted that deal. So it's just shitty to go about negotiating that way and being basically like, if you don't take this, you can go fuck yourself. So I don't appreciate the way that they're handling it in that respect at all. The language is really unnecessary. I do appreciate the fact that SAG is not kind of rolling over, because it's a huge precedent being set, especially with AI. All the other stuff is whatever, an 11% raise, a 9% raise, whatever. Like, AI is something that is going to affect the industry for a very long time. And I appreciate that they're, holding fast and trying to do the right thing for everybody involved. And a lot of it, as we had said before, like, in George Clooney's contracts, obviously, like, there's language, that he cannot be someone that's a victim to that. But any person who does background, any day player actor, the people who it matters more for, the people who need the work more, is who it's going to affect the most. So I appreciate the negotiating committee for looking out for the little guy. I feel like it doesn't happen that often in this industry. And so I'm thankful for that, even though it, really sucks and people are hurting. It's awful. But at the same time, for the amount of time, I've said this before, that we've been on strike, I really, really think that it would be quite a shame to just give in now. It would all be for nothing. It would be for naught. So I appreciate what they're doing. I hope that SAG gives them a counter offer, because, they said that it's not quite there yet. And I hope that we can end this soon.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I think that the counter, it'll probably be the same thing. Writers went through the same thing as Spring was saying. It'll probably be the same deal. They'll do like the final fine print stuff, and then hopefully AMPTP accepts that. We move on with their day. We get back to work. That's the hope. Kay Jacob, are you that, you think that's going to happen? Are you that, believing in this, that a deal is coming soon, or do you think they're going to walk away?
No. Nothing. I agree a lot with what Sabrina just said. And just a cheap plug here, on my podcast just last week, I put out a special update episode about specifically the current SAG strike, the WGA deal, what it all means, where we are. Right, and where we are right now with everything. And Hayden Hebert, who is a strike captain for SAG, he's been at the WB lot. He says something that I think sums it all up. He says the AMPTP is just like the drunk dude at the bar who goes up to a girl, delivers a cheap pickup line, gets rejected, then literally turns to her best friend and delivers the same pickup line. Like, they have no class, they've got no maneuvering, and they're just repeating themselves. So like, this is what the first final offer. There's going to be 3 more. That's exactly what they did with the WGA. They have literally been mirroring everything that they've been doing with the WGA. It's aggravating, it's annoying, and it's extremely unnecessary. Like, just get us the deal. And I know they want this deal to go through. I know that they're going to at least accept a counter offer or start working on some more counter offers with what SAG gives back, because SAG ain't accepting this. I just don't see that happening. But I do see SAG looking at it and putting out counter offers. We need those AI protections. They're an absolute necessity. And honestly, you guys do need better employment financial gains. You need better, what's the word I'm looking for? Residuals.
Residuals, yeah, big thing.
It's a big thing, and it goes a long way, especially for the working actors. You know, the people that you see as the mom in a show. That's a working actor. It's not George Clooney. Like, it's these people you like. It's that guy, that girl. Like, it's who I see all the time. Like, oh, I'm a fan of that person. Can't remember their name for shit, but I love all the shows. When I see them pop up, they're hilarious. Like, that's who we're fighting for, as well as the stand-ins. The background is a major issue, because the background it's dying out, and with AI, it will be officially killed. And I just think that's extremely unfair.
You said hi to you. You're waving.
I didn't want to interrupt him, but I wanted to say something. I put my hand up. Apparently, Peppy acknowledged me, but we're not on a 4-shot to the people in the viewing audience.
That's pretty good.
We weren't in a 4-shot, but I was doing this. I was like, ooh, me.
I was going to say, I know that they do want a deal, because there's already productions in pre-production, slowly work starting to happen and pop up.
Oh yeah,
like, things are going into work, so they're not going to do that if they don't want this strike to continue. Like, they know, so they're going to cave. The AMPTP has to cave. They're just a bunch of fucking lawyers anyway. They're not actual producers.
They will eventually cave, and we'll get a deal. I think it'll be very soon. The fact that we got this close right now, I think we're almost there. I don't know, Paul, you there? I know I see your little emotion.
I am. Unfortunately, my camera did the same thing it did last time. I'm gonna have to hardline. I'm just gonna hardline in next time. I don't want this to happen again.
It's all good. What do you think about this, Paul?
Yeah. So being an actor, I'm just really tired. I'm so tired of having to deal with AMPTP, because they, I think you said it best. You know, it's just been it's just been terrible, and I don't believe that they are really going in to negotiate with good faith. I think they're going in to posture and just, look like they're doing something, and that. It's so frustrating, like you said, and it's just like I don't know what to do at this point. I just kind of throw my hands in the air and just say, look, I don't know when this is going to end, but I know that SAG-AFTRA shouldn't take a shitty deal. That's the thing that comes down to, because this is the future of the industry, and if AI is utilized in the way that they want to use it, the career's done. And I don't understand the mentality of these people in these high up positions being okay with this, because there's so much that the writers, actors, and directors and IATSE, we are the industry. Like, what are you thinking? Like, you don't have us, you don't have anything. So I don't know. It's really just frustrating. I think that's what it comes down to. And I don't know if it'll end. I thought at the end of the WGA strike, oh, that's a good sign. The SAG strike's right behind the corner, and now we're still here. So who knows?
I know, and I have people that. It's the same bullshit, but I have people talking to me too, being like, oh, I had somebody the other day talking to me about Fran being like, well, she just needs to get it just settled. And I'm like, it's not about settling at this point. It's a matter about like doing what's right. No. We wasted like so much of the year battling this thing right now. It's like, if we just take a shitty deal, what was the point of all of it? Like, everyone suffered so much to get here. We have to have this AI thing locked down, and we have to get a better deal, because everybody else got it. Why can't we get it at this point? Right. If you're gonna get everybody else these securities about AI, we deserve to have the same thing. You see big celebrities suing over AI already. We talked about Scarlett Johansson the other day. It's like, people are suing about it right now. You have to cover your talent, and if you don't, we're gonna be fucked in the next couple of years. We just will. By the time the next contract comes around, it's got to be dealt with now. It has to be. Yeah. So,
and they've also did an estimate. I don't know where I saw this, but an estimate of how much money it would take to cover the costs of what they're being asked of, and it's like 2% of the earnings that they make per year.
I think it's
2%.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
I think it's less than that, actually.
Yeah, just make it happen. It's nothing for them, and it sounds like they've gotten somewhere with the residuals and with the actual like raises per year, because they're not really talking about that. They're just talking about the AI now at this point. So hopefully all that stuff's worked out, and there's just some weird, verbiage in that contract that gives the AMPTP a loophole that we don't want. So if we can figure that out, and maybe it's minor stuff, we'll put that out there, and then we'll have that deal and we'll move on.
I think the thing
Come on, AMPTP.
Thanks,
all right,
Pats.
Peppy. I think the thing is like, as Edward was saying, like the studios want to keep their money. Sure, like of course, like every rich person or greedy person like wants to not share the wealth. Like that's a tale as old as time, unfortunately. The thing is like this is uncharted territories. Like the whole streaming thing has recently come about, and we have had a few contract negotiations since then, but none of them really addressed it. And now this AI thing is huge. It's something that can affect everything forever. Like what's Queen saying right now? Do you think that they'll use CGI to replace, all of the actors? But the thing is someone's still going to have to be the voices of those actors. So there can't be a situation where the AMPTP doesn't settle and there are no actors anymore. It's just not possible. You know what I mean? Like it's not a thing unless you're going to move forward.
I was just going to say, in a perfect world, they would not have humans working on anything. It would just be movies that are manufactured by them with no actors, and they don't have to pay anybody. That's what they want.
Right, but that's not a thing. Like the AI currently is not good enough to do that. First of all. Well, that's why they're trying to do this now. So then later on, they can fuck everybody. You know what I mean?
Nip it in the bud.
Yep. Damn, skip it.
Essentially, like we're up against. I mean, if the little things like residuals or whatever, like I think people are like, that don't understand it or whatever, are not super thrilled about even like that being a contentious thing. But like, the whole thing is that they're using you and showing you over and over and over again. And even though you did the job one time, like that doesn't mean that they could use it forever. So like you get a cut of that. And this happened, I think it was like in the 60s, actually during a strike, also the residuals showed up. But the thing is that residuals on streaming networks, like I had a part on Bosch. Okay. I got a ton of residual checks the other day. My checks for Nickelodeon, which is famously the lowest residuals you will get, were close to $100. And my checks for Bosch were 65 cents and $1.62. My 2 checks from Bosch. My Disney checks were $94 and $126. My Nickelodeon checks were $170 and $115. Like, they're ridiculous. And by the way, that Nickelodeon job and that Disney job I did 10 years ago. The Bosch job I did 3 years ago. So the way that they are judging residuals currently on streaming services is ridiculous. And for people, now that it's such a big thing and that people are watching these streaming services more than they're watching network television, like it's the whole, and Fran said this in the very first time, the business model has changed. Yes. And you can't accept the same contract when the whole business model has changed. And so it all needs to change. And that's why it's been so long and so hard for everybody, because if it doesn't happen now, the future is 100% fucked for everyone. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's rumors going around that in June, IATSE and the Transpo union are going to strike. So let's
Teamsters, my union. Yep, it's out there. I mean, here's the thing: we want this deal to go through, and unlike what's happening right now with the AMPTP mirroring the same shit with the DGA, we're hoping that when it comes our time for negotiations in July of 2024 and June of 2024, that we can just approach them and be like, "Here's what we want. Here's the deal. It's fair." Maybe some back and forth negotiating, but like knock this shit out within a week or two. No need for a strike. But if they don't want to fucking do that, then we'll just go into a fucking strike again. We're already broke. And we're only going to be back to work in maybe 3 months? Like, fuck.
Brian made a really good point about that, though. He said that AI doesn't affect you guys like it does the actors or writers. So I feel like it would be easier for you guys to get what you want also.
I think it will be.
That's the goal. No one wants to go to another strike. That's the goal. Is that this works out for everyone and the fair compensation so that we get fair compensation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Paul?
Oh, I was going to say there was an article about oh man, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. I was so intrigued with what you were saying. I was so intrigued. Maybe it'll come up later. It's
I
gone.
would hope that that IATSE, if that does happen, at that point they've gone through enough strikes. They're like, okay, we know how to deal with this point. We'll give them a good deal. We'll start negotiating super early. We'll get this done and just nipped in the bud, and we'll have to worry about it. I would hope so, especially after everything that's happened this past year. I don't think anybody wants another strike next summer, and I think that we will get a deal soon. I hope. I don't think they're gonna wait till January. That's some people are saying. They're like, oh, they're gonna wait till January. I hope not, but we have no idea at this point. Hopefully, it comes soon. Everybody gets back to work.
They'll make the deal in December, just in time for the holiday where there'll be no production. So yeah, you'll come back in January, but the deal might go through in December. I mean, that's what they're gonna fucking do. That's what they're planning. I mean, it's right there. It's obvious.
Pepe's very upset about this too. Pepe's so upset about it because he wants it done. He wants it done, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. So everybody, it's time to get into it. Come on. All right, it's time to get into it, and the first thing I want to talk about is a little story called Godfall. And this is a movie that's going to be developed, or actually a TV series developed by Ron Howard. Now, this is kind of cool. I saw the idea for this. We like to talk about projects that are coming on the show. And apparently there's a bidding war over the rights for this novel that came forward by Van Jensen. And everyone was going nuts about this Godfall series. And it's the first of many books. There was 10 companies fighting for it. Ron Howard's company got it. And now he's going to direct the series itself. And he's going to produce it. And he's going to well, it's on Earth, and everyone thinks they're going to die from this, and it hits, and it's not an asteroid. It's a huge, ginormous dead alien that lands down in their city. So as it crashes down, people are like, what the heck's a 3-mile tall alien here? And this red state farm town turns into a top secret government research site and major metropolitan area flooded with soldiers, scientists, bureaucrats, spies, criminals, conspiracy theorists, and even a murderer. So I heard about this and I was like, this is kind of a fucking cool idea. And if Ron Howard's all about this, they had a bidding war about this, I'd imagine this could be a really cool series moving forward. And I want to talk about it, of course, because we look down my punch there coming forward. So let's go to K. Jacob fast. K. Jacob, what do you think about this? A good idea to watch this series by Ron Howard? Is a good idea for Ron Howard to move into this television series and adapt something like this?
Yeah, man, I'd be down for this. I'm a big sci-fi nerd, though. I mean, we were just talking off air to Paul. I'm a huge Trekkie fan. So, like, anything sci-fi, I'm here for. And I actually never heard of this book series. And having, done some research on it, it sounds really fascinating. I'd be down to even read the books and then check out the show. And also, it's Ron fucking Howard. Like, come on. Apollo 11, he can do space. He can do sci-fi. I'm here for it, 100%. I don't think he's just hopefully it's like either I was gonna say HBO, but I guess it's Max now. So either Max or Paramount, because those two seem to be the only ones, in my humble opinion, that have done book series appropriately.
I mean, I can see it going to Apple though as well. I feel like Apple's trying to do stuff left and right. I
like Apple, but I haven't seen them do anything based off a book that I'm aware of. But I do like Apple; they've been pretty good.
Yeah, Apollo 13, Sabrina said. Yeah, he was involved with that. But I think that
I thought it was Apollo 11. My bad.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea of like a giant alien, it changed. I mean, everyone's talking about aliens these days too.
Still classic fucking 50s sci-fi, halfway decent, funny remake with Keanu Reeves in the early 2000s. But like, that's what it reminds me of. But like, a more story around it. Like, it's dead. Like, what does that mean? Like, how do you go about this? Like, how do you do this giant story arc? And it sounds really fascinating with what they're implying. Like, it's in a red state. You got all kinds of crazy shit happening. Like, it sounds to me like it's about humanity being like, where'd this giant dead alien come from? And it makes them have a crisis of faith. I find that interesting. In the red states, you fuck with their religion, they go nuts.
And it would change, you're right, it would change everything, the way people looked at the world. You have a giant alien just crash down. Honestly, it would drive people nuts. They would lose their philosophy. They would change the way they look at the world. It would just change everything, how they look at each other. It's a good idea, I think, and that's probably why people are having a bidding war over it. And of course, Ron Howard's like, let's make this happen. Ron Howard didn't make Solo. Yeah, Ron Howard didn't make Solo.
Excellent.
He picked it up. He picked the scraps up, I should say, of Solo, because before they had to reshoot like a bunch of stuff. But yeah, what do you think about this, Paul?
Great.
Yeah. But what do you think about this, Paul? Is this the series you would watch moving forward?
Well, I wanted to point out something. You said you weren't sure about a series being made from a book, Kay, as far as like from Apple Plus. Silo, which is a science
Silo,
fiction
not Solo.
novel
Yes,
series.
Silo.
Yeah, Silo
thank
was,
you. And it was
on
excellent.
Apple
I
Plus.
loved it.
Yes. I was a big fan of that one. As far as the series go, hell yeah. I'm reading Tommy Knockers from Stephen King right now. I've never read it before, and if it's anything like that, I'm in. I am also excited about the fact I come from a red state. I'm from Alabama, so anything that challenges the people from a red state on their religion, I'm all about, because I grew up from there. I'm from there, and I know what it's like to kind of have your brain washing. No offense to anybody that's religious, but I come from a place where tongue speaking was normalized, and I don't know what is that. What are we watching?
Great.
Hey, Jacob knows.
Don't blame me, brother. I'm from Louisiana. I feel you, man. That Bible Belt shit, it's fucking nuts.
Oh, Roll Tide. Oh,
so no one's just playing cars anymore.
I can't escape it. I got kicked out of a house because I said I didn't like Alabama football. I don't like football at all.
To be fair, those are fighting words.
They came after you.
I got kicked out of the house.
I think this is a good idea, though. Honestly, it could be a great series. Ron Howard really doesn't do TV, though, and more directors are kind of going that way. Actors are going that way, and maybe it's just something that he just caught his eye that much. He's like, let's just make this happen. Yeah, Sabrina, what do you think about this? Is it something you would watch? Can you imagine Ron Howard directing the whole series, or you think he'd probably just do a couple episodes and then hand it off to somebody else?
Oh, great question. I'm sure he's going to executive produce it. How many he chooses to direct, I think is up to him. He'll absolutely direct the first one because that is where all of the money is. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely a fun topic. If there was a bidding war, like you said earlier, like I feel like it's probably really good content. I'm not familiar with the story of the books, or anything, but it totally sounds interesting. And if you're going to have something like this and not have like a complete unknown to like be super artsy and craftsy and like explore weird shit, I think you should have a fucking huge vet like Ron Howard. Like, why not? You know what I mean? I feel like it's probably the best case. Oh my God, hilarious. Are you kidding with that picture? I feel like it's probably best case scenario for this. And I'm sure the author is, thrilled that this is the way it worked out. I know that this is stupid because what else can we talk about? But like with nothing happening in Hollywood, I still find it so interesting that they keep announcing projects
all the time.
They're like, but wait, there's more.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like this. It's like there's a lot of podcasts that are adapting. We've been talking about that too, and then book series, and people are just buying it up because they need ideas. At least they're different ideas. We've been talking about reboots and remakes and redos and all that. At least these are original.
That's true.
Yeah. I'll take books over remakes.
I want to point out the Queen pointed out tongue speaking.
The tongue speaking.
People. So it's called speaking in tongue, and that's what it's called, and it sounds like just gibberish. It's just that's what they call it, though. Speaking in tongue. I probably said it wrong, but look it up. It's scary.
I like to call it showing off.
It's called showing off. And trying to be special. Whatever.
Trying to be special.
Yeah.
I like
Sometimes
it.
they like to shake and convulse on the floor like they've had a seizure. Oh, that's the best.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That's the best.
I'm also just excited about this in general. I think Ron Howard is a talent, and he does pick up the pieces for things sometimes and make them beautiful, like Solo. Even though Solo didn't do as well, I think that he added an element to it, and I think that something like this, he just helms the whole thing. It could be a great series, and it's original, and of course it's about aliens, and I love watching shows about aliens. It's one of my guilty pleasures, And Edward was saying we have alien bodies. There might be alien bodies in the government. Who knows?
I saw that. Yeah, dude, Area 51. Come on, man.
Who knows?
Come
knows?
on, man.
We don't know yet. Nobody knows.
The 90s. We know this.
We know what's out there.
Very underrated director. He's done some great stuff and not so great stuff, but I think for the most part we can all agree he's one of the better directors out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think he's going to kill it on this project.
I'd like to see him do a series just because it's something new from him that I haven't seen that I'm aware of. Has he done any television before?
I don't think so. I don't think not like this.
I know he acted, but I haven't seen him direct. So
like directing. I feel like he has, but I can't think off the top of my head of what that would be.
I think he's actually
that would indicate his like return to TV. In a way.
You're right.
Even though
Hell,
it's
I'd
not
be
in
happy
front
to
of the
see him
camera, it's
actually
behind.
act. That'd be dope too.
Yeah,
It would be cool.
You
Make a
always
little
go to
appearance.
Arrested Development and hear him.
Right.
I was going to say that.
Just so great in Arrested Development. So great.
I guess that's a TV show.
Yeah, he probably directed some of that. He was probably involved. He's directing episodes here and there, but
he's like the
he was on
showrunner.
camera
Like,
in a
this is
couple of
his
episodes
thing.
for that too. Yeah.
yeah. Well, good for Ron Howard coming to TV to develop a whole series based off this bestseller called Godfall. So hopefully it's a great series. It's moving forward. He's helming it. I can't wait to see it. But something else is coming out right now, and there's a little bit of controversy about it. It's a Pricilla movie coming forward. Pricilla, which is about, of course, Elvis Presley. But this came out.
It's about Priscilla Presley.
Yes, but
Okay.
it's the story of Priscilla and Elvis's love, but it sounds like it's a different take, of course, because we just had Elvis come out before, and everyone was going crazy about Baz Luhrmann's whole story. It was rock and roll and juking and jiving and all that, moving and shaking those hips and all that. But it seems like this is more about the man and what he was actually like. And apparently, this is based off of Priscilla's whole memoir that she put out there, and it's supposed to actually be her story documenting what her time was like with Elvis when she actually met him, to actually the early days in their marriage and their whole life together. But Lisa Marie Presley, before she passed away, came forward and was being like, I think this is wrong. And she was really upset this came forward. There were some emails came out to Variety recently, this past week, and they actually had all the topic, her talking about this, talking to Sofia Coppola about the whole project, who was helming it, directing it, she wrote it, and she actually adapted the memoir into this. And she said about the whole project, she said that it's just shockingly vengeful, she's saying about her adaptation of it. She's talking about how this is not the father that she knew. That he comes across as a predator, and he's manipulative, and that she doesn't like to see this, and she feels like she should be fine with her mother about it. This is before she died. She thought she'd be fine with her mother about it, fighting with her about it, and that she didn't believe this should be happening, and that she's really changing the perception of the king, and this wasn't the man that she knew. This 1985 memoir, though, says a little bit different. And there's also some stuff they've been talking about, like, there's in the trailer, if you watch it, he throws a chair at her, and that's some controversy that happened, did it not happen? And she's trying to say, Lisa Marie was saying before she passed away, that this is not right. There's a lot of things miscued from here. When she read the script, she's like, this is not the man that I know. And she said, I will be forced to be in a position where I will have to openly say how I feel about the film and go against you, my mother, publicly. Unfortunately, she passed away. This did come out now after she's passed away, because she did have really bad feelings of this project coming forward. I saw the trailer. It looks pretty interesting. And it does show a different side of the king. Like, he's just trying to tell her how to wear, how to dress, how to have her eyeliner on, to the point of like how to be able to be the best wife for him. It's A24 again. It's A24, and A24 likes to do these kind of gritty kind of films. We talked about that before. So I think they're just trying to do a different take on it, especially because how big Elvis was. And is it all right? Is it all factual? Probably not. There's got to be some liberties taken. That's what happens every time. But if you have this inner turmoil in the family, like, I'm surprised this got made. I'm just shocked. That's why I put up to the group. Are you surprised this got made, Sabrina? Because if you know that she didn't agree on it, but the mother was saying something else, and Pricilla is an executive producer on the film, so she probably wrote it all off. And Sofia Coppola said they had multiple interviews talking about this to make everything documented right. Are you surprised this moved forward?
No, definitely not. Especially because it's based on Priscilla Presley's book. You know what I mean? It's not like Sofia Coppola was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna figure some shit out and like put this out there because I feel like it. Like, it's based on her book, and I feel like she's capitalizing on the timing of the Elvis biopic. Yes, Edward Hyde, they were absolutely underage when they started dating. Things were a little bit, different back then, but I don't.
Queen.
That's good. But I don't think that matters. And I know a lot of people were upset on the Elvis movie that like no one shed light on the fact that was the case or whatever. But
They made painted a great picture of him.
Yeah, which I mean, obviously, I don't know. She is an executive producer on the project. Priscilla Presley is, and she's worked very closely with Sofia Coppola to create this project. And so I think that it is. I mean, if she's okaying everything, it has to be close enough to what she feels is reality, whether it's the truth or not. Because let's be clear, there's always two sides to every story. The truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So how she felt, how he felt, how Lisa Marie felt, all three different takes on one reality, and the reality is none of their takes. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. I will say this: Lisa Marie was 9 when he died. I don't really know how much you could remember in 9 years of your life. Like, how do you know how your father treated your mother? How do you know what's real and what's not? What's perception? What was, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I have very strong memories from that age. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, I feel like for her to, go against her mother who lived that life as an adult, as opposed to like memories you have as a 9-year-old, it's probably less accurate than she felt. And I think she loved her father very much, and she wished she had more time with him, and she doesn't want him to be painted in a poor light. That being said, I didn't read the book. I know nothing about what it says. I don't know what's true and what's not true. I'm just saying, as a daughter of someone, you hold your parents in high regard, and you don't want, it's like a parent protecting their child, a child protecting their parent. It's the same thing. And I think that she's just trying to do that in whatever way that she can.
And there's also like, of course, Lisa Marie wasn't alive when their marriage started, so there's also that.
She was. They got married. I think it was like 9 months or 8 months or something before he passed away.
When they got married.
When Pricilla and Elvis got married. Yeah.
I'm saying when their relationship started, though, she wasn't.
Oh yeah,
alive,
no,
you know what I mean?
No.
And this is about the early, like how he's going to the house, and like the father in the trailer is like, "Why do you want to date my daughter?" And like the early beginnings, the blossoming of that relationship, I should say. It's like she wasn't around for the conception of it, and so like who knows what that relationship was like, and maybe it adapted and it changed. I just think it's good to have a different perspective too. You're getting like from her, because everybody paints the king in a certain way, and everyone's not perfect, but as you're right, as a daughter, you're probably just like this. I don't want to see my father kind of like slandered like this, but maybe he was like that. Who would know better than Pricilla? I don't know. Kate Jacob, what do you think about this? Do you think that this is something that you shocked the family let this move forward? There's kind of inner turmoil, and do you think there actually is like probably stuff that Lisa Marie doesn't know?
I think going off of what Sabrina said, to Lisa Marie, he may have been an amazing father. She had him for 9 years. But to Pricilla, it could be completely different. We don't know other than her book. And if her mom's fine with it, then cool, make the movie or whatever. I was raised on Elvis. Like I grew up listening to Elvis. I also grew up listening to Michael Jackson, Jerry Lewis. I don't really have room to speak on the musicians that I grew up listening to because they're all a bit tainted now. So
yeah,
it is
very true. You start breaking that down and putting them in that category.
Yeah, right. So like at this point, I kind of believe Pricilla. Like if she says he was weird and abusive about things and just controlling, sure, why not? She lived it. And she didn't really say a whole lot of negative things about him.
No.
She just was kind of straightforward, it seems. So I'm cool to
and
watch
the fact she's
movie.
still
Why
like
not?
She's still like, he was the love of my life. That's why she didn't remarry after that. She's like, who could fill the shoes of Elvis? Like, who can I marry that is Elvis? And so she didn't remarry. She just like, that was it for her. So there was a lot of love there, but not every relationship's perfect. But I'm still surprised though that there's inner turmoil that this happened before Lisa Marie passed away, and it's coming out more and more that she was so against this movie after they were so on board with the Elvis, the Loz Berman one.
You said that she said it seems vengeful to her. So like,
yes.
Is she really mad at Sofia Coppola and this film being made? Or is she actually just more mad that her mom never told her how she felt about her dad?
That could be it too.
That's what I'm
really
getting.
Could be.
It's like, I think she's really just more upset. And it's also like, your mom wrote this book in the 80s. You could have fucking read it. Like you could have talked to her then. Open a goddamn dialogue. Like, come on. Like that's how family dynamics work. You open a fucking dialogue. You talk about this shit.
Yeah,
like,
you have to
accept it. It is what it is. Like my parents are divorced, but I know they each love me and they each talk to me, and I understand how they feel about one another because we opened a fucking dialogue.
Yeah, and they should have done that. I mean,
do that, but it should be.
It's sad. It's really sad. Well, what do you think about this, Paul? Are you surprised? Like this is moving forward. You kind of agreed that this is just one of those things that we're getting a different take, and the mother, it's her story, so we should hear her story.
Well, I don't know if anyone else has seen the movie, but I did go see it a couple of days ago, and
nice.
Oh wow!
That I felt very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it just came out
at the beginning when he was wooing her. We'll say, I was going to say grooming, but
he was grooming. You could say
Yeah.
grooming.
It felt like grooming. And at the end of the movie, I was just like, I looked at my friend who came with me. I was like, so we're just going to ignore he groomed her, or like, and I look, and you know, no matter what you can say, no matter what you can say about, you know, the relationship, if things did or didn't happen, it's a known fact that she was in the 9th grade when they met, and he's in his late 20s, almost.
I think 30s. He was 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not great. And so no matter what you think about your father, you have to look at that fact and be like, okay, that's not right. And, and so when you take that into consideration, all the other stuff, yes, that could be a problem, you know, the throwing of the chair or cheating on her. Yeah, those are problems, but there's no getting around the grooming part. There just isn't. I thought it was a brilliant film. It stuck with me days later. And it was interesting to me because they didn't use any Elvis music. They couldn't, but I think that honestly that brought out, that brought out another side of the film, because it forced Sofia Coppola to choose music that fit more of the tone of what they were going for. And I think it actually works better that way, in my opinion. The soundtrack.
It's a lot different story, isn't it?
Director anyway.
Yeah. It's a lot different story though, isn't it, Paul?
What's that?
It's a lot different story though, isn't it? It's a lot different perspective in general.
It is. You really feel like you see the loneliness of somebody in this position and not having a life of their own, told, hey, you choose between me or a career. There's no other way. And you just see the isolation she experiences, and to see her at the end, like Queen was saying, Pricilla eventually divorces Elvis. That's kind of the end of the movie, as she goes off and has her own life. And I think there's something really beautiful about that she got away from that. And I mean, I felt bad for Elvis at the same time, because he was addicted to pills and he wasn't having a good life. I mean, you could see that from the other movie, that he had a lot of problems. But at the same time, I always go back to the fact, well, he groomed a freaking 14-year-old. So I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah. That's like what Kay Jacob was saying too. It's like, there's a lot of problems with these rock stars from our past, like these big influential people on music. And it's just like, there's a lot of stuff happening behind closed doors you didn't know about. And people still just love them for what it was. If there was social media back then, I don't know if people would have been as happy about these people. I don't know if you would have had Twitter, if you had X or whatever back then, you think that this stuff would have been out. People might have boycotted Elvis, you know, they could have, as opposed to have loved him so much.
I know. And you know, I think you're right about that. Lisa Marie, she wasn't alive for any of this. You know, she's a baby by the end of the movie. She's a toddler. There's just no way to know what he was like really as a person, because she didn't get to grow up with him. But there's a book out there of somebody that was married to him that was written. And I tend to think that she wouldn't lie about this stuff. So that's where I stand with it.
Yeah, and she was executive producer on it too. So it's very fascinating that Lisa Marie was so divided with her mother about this before she passed. I guess she didn't want this out there, maybe. I don't know, but it is sad. There's a lot of weird history right here.
Her father.
Yeah.
I think she idolizes her father. I think that's what it comes down to.
Listen,
like a lot of people.
Even if Elvis was a terrible husband to Pricilla, if he was still a decent person, she would have wrote that in her book. But apparently he wasn't that great. And it's okay. Yeah. Our idols don't have to be great. It is what it is. Yeah. It was the 50s.
It was the 50s, a different time, and people just got away with things that they thought were normal.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have, you know?
Yeah, like it was normal.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not right. It's just it was normal at that time.
Well, something else has been very normal for somebody is blood, guts, and just beating people up. And that's the Echo series coming out, everybody. And I want to talk about this very briefly because, well, I was shocked by this trailer. This trailer came out. If you haven't seen it yet, the trailer for Echo came out. Of course, this is a spinoff following Hawkeye. We're getting to the Daredevil world finally. We're getting to hear about Echo and her connection to Kingpin. And you had the character introduced during Hawkeye. And then we found about the spinoff coming. And everyone online was, I mean, for a while, I've been hearing these like, oh, it's going to be crap. People are saying because because Disney had no faith in it. They were pushing it. They were releasing it all at once. For one, that was scaring people saying it's going to be bad. But I saw this trailer, and the trailer looks freaking awesome. It looks intense. It looks like a story I've been waiting to see. It looks like it falls into that Netflix like Daredevil world very well. And it seemed like D'Onofrio was finally getting a chance to play his Kingpin again. And it looks great. But I mean, for the first time, you're having a TV MA rated Disney program coming forward. It looks great. I mean, simultaneously, it's going to release on Hulu and Disney Plus at the same time. So if you have Hulu, you don't have Disney Plus, you can watch it regardless what service you have. And it's the first time a Native American and a deaf lead is out there. So it comes out January 10th. They're dropping every episode. You can check it all out. And it follows after Hawkeye. So if you haven't watched Hawkeye, you can watch it on Disney Plus, and it just continues forward there. And of course, D'Onofrio's not dead. Looked like he was dead, but to me, this looks so freaking. I was shocked by this trailer. I really thought it wasn't going to be. Yeah, Echo is a Marvel character. I really didn't think that it was going to be like this. I was very blown away by this trailer, and we had some issues watching trailers before, so put a little hashtag like get ready for this. We're gonna watch a trailer. And if it doesn't work, tell us where we will switch right back. I think it'll be fine. I think we were trying to play music that was just like problematic in these trailers before. This should be fine. So we're going to try to watch the trailer together and reacting. If you see a problem, let us know in the chat. But anyways, here's the trailer for Echo. Let's check it out.
Maya. I see everything that you are. I always have.
Love Vincent.
He's so good.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Don't be afraid.
Fuck that vigilante. I'm here for it.
Right?
You have so much pain in you. You. So much rage. That you can't contain it. You and I are the same. So,
So fucking.
who's the monster?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. 100%. Nice.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, let's go.
I mean,
Shit.
not what I was expecting from this at all, right? Not what I was expecting. I'm like, they're going full into Kingpin, like full in there, brutality. And they're saying this is going to show some flashbacks. We already seen the trailer, tying into like the series from Hawkeye and then reintroducing Kingpin and what his connection is with her. And Daredevil's supposed to make an appearance in this as well. So that's also why people are like, they couldn't cancel it. But I'm like, I don't see why you can't. I mean, just from this trailer, you can only make a great trailer. But I mean, if this is the vibe of the show and the feel of it, the Kingpin is captured perfectly right here. And her persona too, she's actually much more badass, I think, in this than she was in the Hawkeye series. But the Hawkeye series is very lighthearted compared to this, it looks like. We're finally going into this world of Daredevil that I think people want to see and going R with it and going hard and going mature. Paul, you see this. What do you think? Have you had any kind of expectations for this series moving forward? And does this change those?
My expectations were honestly quite low because I just didn't know what this could be. Like, I like the character from Hawkeye quite a lot. But I was like, where can they go with this character? I like her from the comics, but do I really want to see a show about her? And this blew me away. Like, this is why I say Marvel isn't on the downward spiral that people think it is. Now, there's a lot of stuff Marvel needs to fix, but they have such a great cast of characters and stories to pull from that can be explored, and if created correctly and given proper time and dedication to creating the content that they want, like this. I mean, from the trailer, it looks like they really went there with it. It reminds me of the Daredevil show. Well, yeah, it reminds me of the greatest TV show Marvel's produced, which is Daredevil.
Yep.
And if it's a return to form for that, I am there for it. I'm a big Marvel stan anyway. I recently, realized though I'm not a fan of the Secret Invasion series. That was not great.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
Shit.
It was horrible.
Loki season 2 has brought me back into the fall. I'm excited again. So it's up and down with Marvel, whereas it used to be just straightforward hit after hit after hit. So hopefully this is one of the better ones.
Holla.
Fingers crossed.
I agree. Happy too. I know. Like that Secret Invasion was just trash. I mean, I know a lot of people were saying they want us to reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe to get rid of that completely. We talked about that before. It's like, just get rid of that. Forget about, Nick with all his worries that like he's on the spaceship now. Forget about all that. We didn't need to see any of that. It's like, and for me too, it just seemed like a wash. They changed the directors and they changed the scripts. They had a lot of issues in post-production. They reshot so much for that series. This seems like it's totally in the right direction to me. And Loki is great so far. I'm excited for the finale coming up this week. I can't believe I'm saying it's finale already, but this is like finally getting some grittiness, Sabrina, right? You ready? You ready for this? You excited about this? I know you weren't a huge fan of the Daredevil series on Netflix. I know that, but do you think this is good for D'Onofrio moving forward, playing Kingpin again in the MCU?
Just Ryan, Peacemaker is DC, bro, not Marvel, but I feel you. Ryan's not a comic book person. So I think it looks great. I will remind you though that the trailer, since you mentioned it for Secret Invasion, was you put in a special code and you could watch the first few minutes. And it was Freeman,
Martin Freeman, yeah.
Martin Freeman coming in, and it turned out this whole thing happened with him and the other guy, and it was a scroll thing, and it looked super fucking good. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to watch it. And it was awful. So I will say what this has going for it that didn't. Vincent D'Onofrio, that's for fucking shit sure. He's amazing. I love his rendition of Kingpin. So I'm absolutely going to watch it. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that, I feel like you had said, I think, Paul, that it feels very close to the original Daredevil. And I feel like maybe once this was finished, after all of the problems, that's why they're rebooting the new Daredevil, because they wanted to match this and the tone of the original Daredevil series. So maybe, that's part of the reason they're redoing all of that stuff that they're doing with the, what is it called? Reborn, the new Daredevil?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it's about.
Rebooting.
Right, but I feel like maybe they wanted to match the tone of this and match the tone of that, which is because it's all in the same, universe.
Thank God, yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
Like make it match. I know they were saying that was more like a procedural lawyer show. It felt like when they got it done. That's what Kevin Feige was saying, as opposed like you didn't even see him in the Daredevil costume for like 3 or 4 episodes, like the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. That's what the leak that came out about it. Of course, Foggy died in the first episode.
Foggy and Karen are gone for no reason. They're like killed off in the first episode. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like what are you doing? That's what people love. They love their dynamic, and they loved his gritty fighting as Daredevil. They kept him in the the vigilante costume more than his actual costume most of that series, because it was just like the street level hero. It's out there putting random costume on and kicking some ass. So Peacemaker made Ryan laugh. Peacemaker's great. It's a fun show. Very different vibe. Very different vibe.
Oh yeah,
from this.
100%.
Very different. Hey Jacob, you ever watched the original Daredevil? Does this give you good vibes moving forward for the franchise that they're introducing Kingpin again this way with Echo? Do you think this will be good, or do you think that we have to be skeptical because of just the first trailer?
Daredevil was like the first comic book I ever got as a kid. It was Daredevil and Punisher, and I fell in love with the Punisher and started reading all that. But yes, the show from Netflix, I loved it. It was great. I really like the vibes that I got from this trailer. I fucking love Vincent D'Onofrio. He is an amazing Kingpin, and his character is just so much more badass. And he looks great in this. And I love the dynamic that it's showing. Like, is she his protege or his fucking lapdog / guard dog? Like his personal pit bull he can sick onto people. Like, I love where it's showing me this is going. Also, it's really funny. I actually got a chance to go to the UAII powwow this last Saturday with my girlfriend and my kid, and they had a stand where they were at the booth. They were showing this trailer. I walked past it because I thought it was, producers trying to promote a film because actors can't. So I was like, I don't want to give them my time. I feel kind of bad because that's clearly not what they were there for. They were actually promoting to show at the powwow, like, hey, this is a really good Native representation. It's what they are claiming, but they're backing it up with seats. They have a crew behind this. They have a producer from Reservation Dogs. They have
You're right.
a lot of indigenous, not just Native Americans, but indigenous folks from around the world. They have I believe an Australian Aborigines coming in to direct some of the episodes. So like, it's not just on screen, but behind the camera that they had a really good Native representation crew. As someone who has a child that is Native, I'm really excited that I can finally show him a superhero that he can relate to, and he can feel awesome about not just himself, but his culture, who he is. And not only is it a superhero, it looks like it's a badass vigilante, justice. I fucking love that. That's Punisher. Like, that's dope. And also
hell yeah.
Involved in this. Like, I heard Tantu Cardinal and Graham Greene are in this shit. Like, that's classic actors. That's like Dances with Wolves territory. Like, you're talking amazing cast. So like, way to step it up, Disney. Hopefully the ball's not dropped and the show is really well done, because I would like to see more.
I want to see so many more Native American superheroes. That is so fucking cool. Like, I was on set for Perry Mason. Yeah, I was on set for Perry Mason, and I got to talk to one of the main actors on the show, and I was like, you know who you need to play? A Thunderbird from the X-Men. He's a Native American. And he was like, I know that character, yes! And perfect casting in my eyes, but I want to see characters like that brought to life. That would be so badass, and that this looks great. And you were saying, what is it called? The UIAA or
so the United UAII? American Indian Involvement is it's a non-for-profit that's here in Los Angeles that helps out Native American people. And they put on a powwow. There's a ton of powwows all the time. I'm white bread from the South, so I had no clue about this till I started dating my amazing girlfriend, who gave me a little bit of culture. And these powwows are incredible. You get to go and see the Native culture, that community. It's community. It's dancing.
Is it still going on? Because we had stuff like that.
We
had stuff like that back in the South too.
They're few and far between back home, but out here, I believe we go to one. There's at least one once a month. We try to go to as many as we can, because again, it's important for my son to know his culture and his history and everything, and his community. And it's important for my girlfriend. Cool. And so, as someone who wants to be a part of that, I'm really excited that, me being a movie guy, I don't know much, but now I can finally be like, look, I found something awesome. Let's watch this show and give them something cool to root for. I would love to get more
information about that, because I would love to check that out.
Oh, it's great. And that's something cool too about the show. I was also reading that the producers involved and the writers got together with the main actress and some other folks that believe the producer from Reservation Dogs, that they took them to a powwow. And I believe it was in Oklahoma, because they actually changed the Native character to be from the Choctaw tribe instead of Blackfeet, because they felt that in the comics with the Blackfeet, it was kind of convoluted. Again, there's not proper representation. So by changing to Choctaw, they were able to incorporate a better story that's more coherent and makes sense and is respectable. It's appropriate. And so that's kind of cool to me that they took the crew to a powwow, because they were saying, like, I can talk to them till my face goes blue about Native culture and representation and what should be happening. But they're like, I just got to take them to a powwow so they can see it. And so they took the crew to the powwow to see what's going on. And like, they got to see all the regalia. There was a scene in the trailer that was really awesome. It showed them in the regalia dancing at the powwow, or for what it looked like to me, but it could be a flashback to like some kind of cool ancient culture, flashback for her. Who knows what's going on with that storyline. But yeah, all in all, I'm pretty excited about this. I hope it does turn out well, and I hope that they do right by it, because it's a really big step, and it's really good, because especially for the Native community, coming off of the amazing hype behind Reservation Dogs, to be moving forward with another project and showing proper representation. I think that's awesome. I mean, there's enough white guy heroes out there. There's enough Daredevils.
Yeah.
So I'm happy
there's more.
Now I'm watching. Now I'm
Sydney
going to go off
Freeland
and
is
watch
actually
Reservation Dogs tonight. So
it's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Another show to start. Damn it.
And that was
so
Sydney Freeland is the actual creator of that too, who's doing this as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was the one that was pushing for a lot of this representation. And she said it just means a lot to her. Even it was a whole thing. She was talking about pitching this show in general, because it wasn't something that Marvel was looking to do right away. But she had the whole pitch pack put together, and it was a whole. It's a little bit more than you would normally have, but it's a kind of story that I think would be great in this universe, and they went with it. And they picked it up to do the whole thing. And I think it's awesome, and people were getting shit online over and over again. I really hope, based off this trailer, I'm excited about it. I really hope it's going to be great for the presentation, and also for Marvel to have their first MA character come forward and kicks ass and is fantastic, and everyone loves her, and then she can springboard forward into the Daredevil series, and she can be everywhere, hopefully.
Well, also, I think I'm sure everyone knows, but she's not just Native American, she's also deaf.
Yeah,
so that's
huge.
Pretty fucking badass too.
Deaf as well.
And Daredevil, by the way, you're like, we have enough white heroes like Daredevil. He's fucking blind, so he's just not a regular white dude. So he's pretty badass too. Okay, I'm just saying.
Bad. Fair point.
So you have a universe where there's. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So
no, I mean she has one leg.
Oh yeah,
she has one leg too.
Yeah.
But also,
it's really good to see that diversity, though. You're right, Sabrina. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a fun universe where like a blind superhero and a deaf. I don't know if you want to call her a villain. We don't know what she is yet. I guess, but initially though, she was a villain in Hawkeye. Like technically, right? But there is question about that. They do bring that into question, which is why I think they're doing the spinoff, because it's like, oh, why is she doing what she's doing? She finds out these things, and then you know what I mean. So it makes sense. Like that they want to give her a backstory about this, but watching Hawkeye, you're like, she's when she first shows up, she's a villain, 100%. But I think it's great in a world where you have obviously Vincent D'Onofrio being amazing, and then you have a blind, hero or vigilante, and then a deaf hero or vigilante or villain, or however you want to classify it. I just think it's amazing to have so much diversity in like one little like piece of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Queen said earlier that there are so many Native American heroes, and there are so many heroes of everything, different colors, different races, different ailments, disabilities, whatever the fuck. And they have not done that for a really long time. And I'm glad that they're finally starting to get their shit together and represent everybody as a fucking whole, instead of just making it Superman. And I know this is not Marvel, I know it's DC, but I'm just saying, like, the classic shit that you see all the fucking time. Like, I'm really glad that they're, doing justice to the comics.
I like that too, doing justice comics, but also they're doing justice to the community of people that they're trying to represent, because Queen is right. There is a ton of Native American characters. You were right, Sabrina. There's a ton of people of color superheroes out there, but
my point is that the comics did that. The comics did that, but they're not doing it. The film industry is not doing it.
But what I like is the film industry, it seems to be stepping up to a point where, like, not only are they showing the representation on screen, but behind the camera as well, which means they're getting appropriate representation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I think that's going to be great. And it's a good step in the right direction for a ton of actors, a ton of characters, superhero characters out there of different ethnicities to finally get that representation on screen and behind. And I'm here for it 100%.
And I hate to burst your bubble on this, though, but yeah, they are doing that, but they're also apparently going back to some of their roots. And Robert Downey Jr. is apparently signed on to come back as Iron Man. And now we're going to our featured story of the night. Come on! Woo. So Marvel, apparently, we talked about this last week, a big shakeup there, talking about they had that retreat where they were saying they were back to the original Avengers. Well, now it's been leaking that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans have signed on to come back as Iron Man and Captain America. And now this is still like, they haven't made the official announcement, but they were already talking about the stuff leaked that they were already, having the idea of it coming back during this retreat. Now the retreat happened during all this. Now, would they have signed on earlier? Is it actually happening? I think it is. I think it's just a matter of time. And I think this just makes sense. Robert Downey Jr. apparently didn't even want Iron Man killed in the first place when they actually did the snap.
Why would he?
He didn't want to die. There was a whole battle going back and forth, and they thought it'd be a good idea for the ending of the storyline. He didn't think so. And then he walked away. And of course, he's doing other roles that are like Oppenheimer that are fantastic. He's a phenomenal actor, but he's Iron Man. He's fucking Iron Man. He really started this whole train, and people miss Iron Man. People were so upset when he died, and people have been calling for him to come back, and then people are like, well, maybe we don't need to do that. But honestly, they're already doing Secret Wars. The idea is he's coming to Secret Wars. Chris Evans, he needed time away. He'll come back too. But I think this is just real. I think this is happening. It's, it's one of those leaks that have been floating around over the weekend after all this other stuff came out. They're like, well, they re-signed on before the strikes to come back because they've been amping up to figure out what they're going to do now. Of course, Jonathan Majors thing came out where it kind of slowed some stuff down. They haven't really been talking about it, but this just makes sense to me. Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man again. He can be a variant. He can be pulled before he died, and they bring him to Battle World, and he fights, all the, because again, Battle World, all the heroes, all the villains get together, and they fight because of Beyonder to see who is the best, good or evil. And of course, Iron Man is a very big part of that. Captain America is a big part of that. Spider-Man's a big part of that. And if you're going to do it, why would you not have Robert Downey Jr.? Of course, you'd have him to come back. So this is just like something that I'm waiting for Marvel to have the big release video, and it'll be the big thing. Captain America will be running, and he'll be flying, and it'll be a big old thing, and it'll happen soon. It'll probably happen after we have a deal, and they can actually start talking about it, and they start deciding who's actually going to be running forward, if they're going to have Kang, or if they're going to switch over to Doctor Doom, like the rumor around there. They're talking about doing that because of all the drama, and they said that Kang didn't do that well, but this just makes sense to me. I believe this is true. Honestly, I can't imagine it not being true. If you're doing Secret Invasion or Secret War, you're going to have Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. You have to. Cool. Bring him back, Queen says. Yeah, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. It's happening. What do you think, Paul, right? You see this? You believe this, or do you not believe this? You think it's just like he wouldn't do it again? Would he not touch it again?
I do believe it's in the air. I think it's a possibility. Do I want it to happen? No. Like I just think he went out perfectly. There's no reason to bring him back unless they're desperate, which might be the possibility because Marvel's they're not having the hits like they used to without, the core 3 people or 4 people, the core Avengers. And I think that it is a possibility because of that. But I really don't. I feel strongly that Marvel needs to move on and find a new way because it just ended so well. Why bring it back and do the same thing? And even the reboot we've been talking about, they're going to recast the entire Avengers lineup. I'm just like, come on, we already did it. Let's move on to something new. And let's do it right.
And that's
look at your mistakes that you made, which are plentiful, and go from there. Yeah.
But that's the big debate too, there, Paul. That's the big debate. Like, do you touch that legacy? Like, it was. You're right. It's a good ending, right? It's a great ending. Do you touch that? Does it tarnish everything he's done if you touch that and just bring him back? It could, couldn't it?
It could. It possibly could. Because let's be honest, Endgame was probably where Marvel should have ended their movies because it was like the perfect a culmination of everything that they built up to, and it went out on a high note. And everything after that, there's been highlights here and there. It just hasn't been as exciting building up to the next big thing. So maybe they should have just stopped. I know they would never do that because it makes $1 billion.
Too much money.
But it's like just too much money. But from an artistic standpoint, it's like, do we really need to keep going? I mean, and just, if Robert Downey Jr. does come back, if they bring a dump truck of money and pull up to his house and he says, fine, I'll come back as Iron Man. He could, but he has to take into consideration. And that's another thing I would say why he would say no is because he's doing other things that are smaller and more intimate. And I mean, he's already being talked about an Oscar for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So he's doing things that he wants to do. He's made that documentary about his father, Senior. I mean, I don't know why he would want to come back to this, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, 25 million bucks, maybe, you know. So
he's already got just as much money as Tony Stark in real life.
It's true. He is pretty much Iron Man.
Yeah,
that's the question.
Yeah,
Sabrina, does he need more? Sabrina, does he need more money?
I mean, apparently everyone needs more. That's basically the format of life on Earth, unfortunately. I mean, I don't know. I love him as Iron Man. Honestly, I don't see. Let's be clear. Iron Man kind of put Marvel on the upward swing, right? Like they fucking. That's when everything started going really well for them, and they started making shit tons of money, and it just started. It was like he was the embers that built the fire that Marvel thrived upon for years until fucking Endgame, right? So if you're Marvel, obviously you're gonna want to bring back the kindling to start the fucking fire again. Obviously, I mean, why wouldn't you, right? That being said, also he's fucking awesome. And, you know, I would like to watch him in anything. So if he came back as Iron Man, not just for me, but like any person who was a Marvel fan that's maybe disillusioned or kind of annoyed or like, yeah, then whatever the fuck, I'm kind of over it. If they were like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. is back as Iron Man, I'm gonna go see that shit. So it'll boost their box office, like, period. Like it'll give them what they want, which is money. You know, and it'll give the fans what they want, which is more of what they never wanted taken away in the first place. You know, but at the same time, I'm not saying that I don't disagree. I agree, Paul. Like, move on. That's it. It's done. You made your choice. It was stupid. I don't like it. And I also agree with like a lot of the stuff in the chat. You know, Edward was saying, Queen was also saying, you know, that
back all the time.
Yeah, there's like now that the multiverse has been introduced, that's it. You can do anything you want at any time. You can bring back anyone, anywhere. Oh, this person's from this timeline. It's like it's a shit show, and it's very convoluted, and it's kind of annoying. Ironically, the show that kind of delves into it the most is Loki, and it's like my favorite Marvel show.
It's so good.
I'm very conflicted upon this. I don't like. But no, because you have that makes it acceptable for every other offshoot of Marvel to do the same fucking thing, which is really fucking annoying. So I don't know how I feel about it. I'm confused. I'm super down with him as Iron Man. I love him in anything, but he was amazing. I understand why Marvel wants to do that. And to be clear, I will go fucking see it. However, is it a great idea? I don't know. I kind of agree with Paul that we should move in another direction, but you know, I'm torn.
Yeah, I agree. I'm torn too.
Though, I'm sorry. I just want to say that if Robert Downey Jr. came back, of course I'm going to be there opening night.
Yeah, no shit. Who isn't? Who isn't?
Yeah.
Take my money.
That's why
something to keep
Paul. That's why they're making it.
Yep.
Take my money.
I'm part of the problem.
You are.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, are you part of the problem? Are you there opening night if he's coming back to be Iron Man? What do you think? Is it worth it?
No, I'm not going to be there opening night. I do agree a lot with what Paul was saying, you know, about like, why are we doing this? You know, and we just got done discussing the amazing diversity that they're doing now with all these new, fresh superheroes. And we haven't even gotten into the LGBTQIA community of superheroes. It's like, there's so much new, fresh stuff out there they could be doing now. And, you know, Sabrina said too, like, yes, Robert Downey Jr., his Iron Man helped put Marvel on the map. It made superhero movies what they are today. And I'm thankful for that. But do we really need another rich, white 1% coming back to the superhero universe? Like, he went out like a boss. He can be applauded and revered and respected. Move the fuck forward. Let's keep going forward. Keep going forward. Like, I don't understand why they want to do that. And also, like, I understand that with the multiverse, it does open up the doors to do this, to bring back, you know, characters from the dead. It's what the comics do, but it's also where comics get really convoluted and you start to kind of go, what the fuck are you doing? And that's why every 10 to 20 years, they just go, all right, Flashpoint, reset the fucking universe. Like, every fucking
start over again.
Time to start over. Like, really, this never happened. And it's like, come on.
That's why it's really hard for me to get into Marvel and DC nowadays. Unless a creator comes along and writes something amazing like Scott Snyder or something. But most of the time I stick to more like horror comics or one shots or, you know, off the beaten path stuff. Invincible's amazing.
Anything Image makes.
Image is amazing. Yeah, everything.
And they're doing a live action Invincible too. That's happening as well. They've been working on that.
Oh yeah.
So they don't need the live action. The animation is fan-fucking-tastic.
It
Yeah.
is. I just watched season 2, episode 1 last night, and
So
it
great.
is
Same here.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
everybody gets excited about it. They want to see the live action version. Who's going to play that? And as movie theaters go, they want to get people in those theaters, so they just make more live action projects. But
We
Iron
don't need
Man,
another White Knight to come back from the dead. Like, we just don't need him. We got plenty of White Knights. Let's move the fuck forward.
I'm going to say though, I think he's coming. And I think
sure he
Chris
will.
Evans
We'll
is
make money.
coming.
We'll do it.
Yep. I just think that even though they're worried a little bit, it sounds like after all these reports have come out, they want to bring back the OG Avengers. And of course, you need Robert Downey Jr. to make that happen. So regardless if it's good for business.
If they execute it well and it makes fans happy, I'm not going to be complaining. Like, good for the fans.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. but hey, maybe I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong.
We're going to find out soon enough because we'll get back to work. When we finally get back to work, more announcements will come. This is just little stuff trickled here and there, of course. Rumor mill, because that's what happens. Like, people are just trying to put their ear to the ground and find some kind of news because of what's been happening right now. But a strike will end eventually. I'm saying Iron Man's coming back. Just saying. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for being here today on Kruse Control. Appreciate you as always. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great time hanging out with us today. Just talking about the news, having a good time with some friends, shooting the shit, and talking about movies. Love doing it, everybody. So, love y'all being here. Thank you so much. Hey, Jacob, thank you for being back here on Kruse Control. As always, happy third Monday in a row, I think this is.
Hey,
Before you bolt out of here, can you give everybody one more pitch for your show before you take off? Talk about IPA Sessions Podcast. What's going on? What's happening? What's new?
Yes. First of all, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sabrina, for having me back on. Paul, it was awesome to get to chat with you, man. I like the way you think.
Too.
It's nice to see a fellow,
Same.
redneck. And IPA Sessions Podcast. IPA Sessions Podcast. It's a podcast for indie artists. Come on over, check out the show. If you want to be an aspiring actor, musician, a paintbrush, acrylic, whatever it is in the art form that you want to do, and you're not sure how to go about it, come listen to some of my episodes. Check it out. I got indie wrestlers on there. I've got professional stunt women on there. Like, it's a great show. I got Brian on there. I got Sabrina on there.
We've
You want
been
to
there.
hear how we do this stuff? Come check out the show and just be inspired to know that, like, hey, you can do this. And just last week, I put out a new episode. It's the SAG strike update, and there is a strike, WGA strike episode as well, featuring Brian and many other talented people. It'll fill you in if you're not aware of what's going on, if you're confused by all this and what's happening. Listen to those special episodes I put out. It's great. It really helps break things down to make people understand what's going on. It's for the layman. Is that the correct term for the layman?
It's for everybody. It's
For everybody, yeah, for everybody, or especially for people
Loser.
not involved in the industry. It really does help understand where the
See, Queen.
industry is coming from. And I have a new episode coming out every 2 weeks, and I believe this Friday I will have another one up and running. So check it out, IPA Sessions.
Nice.
And thank you again for having me on. I love being
Nice. Appreciate having you here too. Appreciate everybody. Check out IPA Sessions. Also, Paulalandixon, thank you so much for being back here again from Film Vets. He's an awesome actor. I've known him for years now. We did a play together. I love him so much. He's a great guy. And give everybody a pitch about Film Vets before we take off here. Tell everybody about the show before we take off.
Yeah, Film Vets is a channel that a friend of mine from the military, and my camera's being stupid. Sorry, I'm gonna turn that off. A friend of mine from the mil. Yeah, I know, right? A friend of mine made, and we talk about entertainment. We do trailer reactions, but we also do interviews with people who were in the military and are in the entertainment industry, and we also do all kinds of information about what we're going to be getting into, information about becoming actors as a veteran, and also doing our own skit shows and things like that. Sketch shows. So we're jumbling around, but we're having fun doing it. And we're always happy to just talk about movies, comics, and TV shows.
Nice. I'll be checking it out.
Awesome.
Okay.
Check it out. Thank you for coming back here, Paul. Appreciate you. Good chatting again. It's been too long.
Yeah.
My lovely co-host, Miss Sabrina Vittori, thank you for coming back here again on a Monday. Happy to have you here. Hope you have a good rest of your day as well.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you, Edward, Queen, Ryan, GR, everybody in the chat. If I forgot you, I'm sorry. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. We love you guys. You make the show what it is. It's so much more fun when you're here than us just like waxing poetic about whatever. It's so nice to get your input on things. So I really appreciate y'all for coming in here. and for being here. Queen, love our veterans. Absolutely. I fully agree. GR would love to hear that as well, as he is also a vet. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. And if you like the show, please like it right now. Liking goes a long way for us. Tell your friends, to like it as well if they pop in, or if you tell that chinchilla to do it, because we got to keep spreading the love. I think we're at like 690. I think we're at 690 now subscribers, Sabrina?
691.
691. They keep going up. I love it. Thank you so much for spreading the love. Please tell everybody you gotta like and subscribe. Join our Patreon if you can. And as always, tell your friends, your family, your uncles, your aunts, your grandmas, your grandpas, your great-great-grandmas, your great-grandpas who had children that came to life and they loved you so much that they subscribed to Kruse Control. They told you to subscribe to Kruse Control, and they had kids that came around the world and came back to some places but they didn't even know where they were at, and they still subscribed and they still came and checked it out. They chatted with us live. They joined us live. All their marsupilami, their chinchillas, their kangaroos, their bats, their beavers, their all their fucking animals, like the salmon, the fucking fish. The fish are doing it now. I saw it last night. A salmon subscribed. He said, "Fuck yeah!" Blah, 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 blah. I love Kruse Control. Tell everybody out there, please like and subscribe. Keep that growth going. We love you so much. We'll see you back on our Hump Day edition on Wednesday. And until then, everybody, see ya.